So it's a little after 8 o'clock on a Friday night, and I'm really craving a latte. Instead of getting in the car and going out to Starbucks, I decided I'm going to make one. Now, I don't have an espresso machine, so I'm going to show you how to make a latte without an espresso machine. If you're not quite sure what a latte is it has 1 or 2 shots of espresso in it, and then it's mostly milk, and then it has a little bit of foam on there, probably about a ½ an inch of foam on top, ½ an inch to an inch. I like a lot of foam on there. And then you can add some flavoring into it that you want. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Now, my coffee machine is a Hmailton Beach, and it's got 2 sides to it. It's got the larger pot and then the single serving side. You want to use the single serving side if you have one, or if you have a single coffee maker like a Keurig, something like that, because you're only going to put in a little bit of espresso. And I use this brand. This is my favorite brand of espresso, but you could use any espressos. Also, dark coffees work, so the darker coffee, the better, because you're only using so little coffee, you want to get the most caffeine and the most coffee flavor out of that. So I'm going to add that into my little single serving dish here. There we go. And you don't need a lot of it because, you know, I'm probably going to do 2 spoonfuls because you're only doing a shot of espresso. So you don't really want to waste your coffee. I'm very conservative on the amount of beans that I use. So when you make your espresso, you also want to try to kind of tamp it down, kind of smush it in there, make it harder for the water to get in there. You want to try to compact it. Compact that espresso, which is what baristas do at the coffee shop. You know, they're going to take their little stamper and they're going to crush it down. But if you don't have one of those, just use a spoon, do your best, don't break your machine, don't use too much force. There we go. Now to measure, I don't use a measuring cup or anything like that. I use my coffee cup because this is going to be this is what I'm going to drink out of. So I want my latte to fit in this. So I'm going to use a little bit of water. I'm not sure if you can see this. Just a little bit. It's probably about that much water in my coffee cup. So I'm going to run this through my coffee maker. Turn that on. So while my espresso is brewing, I'm going to move into my next step, which is going to be frothing the milk. This is my milk frother, and it's fairly new. I ordered this from Amazon. I had one I got at Target for like $15–20, and that one worked just fine too. So it depends on what kind of frother you want. You can also order, they make little tiny frothers that are kind of like whisks, like a hand mixer, that you don't need a contraption like this. It's battery operated and you can put it in your coffee. I used to have one of those, but when I upgraded, I kind of got rid of it to make more space for other things. So now we're going to froth the milk. There we go, got some milk there. Take the lid off. And your milk frother is going to have lines in there of minimum and maximum amounts of milk to put in there. And you definitely want to follow that, otherwise it'll overload or it won't froth at all. There we go. Now a good coffee barista will add flavor to the bottom of the espresso shots when they make it with an espresso machine. We don't have an espresso machine here, but typically if they don't do that, they normally put it in the bottom of the cup first to mix with the espresso, so you get that heat to liquefy it and meld it all together. What I like to do is put some actually in the milk when it's frothing. They don't do that at coffee shops. They don't add flavoring to the milk and the froth. That's something that I like to do, and today I'm using hazelnut. Just a little bit there to flavor the milk. You put the lid on. It goes on here like so. and you just push the button. That's it. You can barely even hear it. It's very quiet, and it'll stop when it's done. So now while that's going, I can tell that my espresso has finished. Let's take that. Just a little bit of espresso in there. And because I love sugar and flavor, I'm gonna add a little bit more to this and mix it up. Oh, this is gonna be good. I can smell it already. The smell of espresso it's intoxicating. I used to work as a barista for, gosh, it was probably about 10, 15 years ago, over a course of like 6 years at different coffee shops while I was working my way through college at coffee shops. So I know a little bit of the tricks here. I gotta lick the spoon. All right, still going. Still going. Now that milk frother actually has a cold setting too. So if you want a cold latte, you can use that. So I've used that a couple times before. Typically iced coffees though, or not iced coffees, iced lattes, they have very minimum foam on there because of the ice. Ice just melts it really quickly. Let's check on that. I'm just gonna open the lid. It looks perfect, so I'm just gonna call it. Shut that off. Bring it over. Show you. Look at that foam. That's the good stuff there. So you're gonna use your spoon, and you're gonna try to hold back the foam and fill this with coffee. So right now, or fill this with milk. Right now, the espresso is filled about there. I'm gonna fill it to about here with milk. So I'm gonna hold back the foam, fill it with milk. There we go, get that in there. And then once the milk's in, then I'm gonna add the foam on top. There we go. And just scoop it out. Go over there. Yeah. With the spoon again. And there you go. If you can see that. Love me tender in there. I do love lattes. Love them a lot. Latte mustache. There you go. It's pretty quick. That took me what, a minute to make this. You can make it all the time. It's just a nice change of pace in the morning than having a regular coffee. Instead of getting up and going through the motions, I can get up and create something special. Sometimes I like to throw a little bit of cocoa on top, some cinnamon, you know, spruce up the joint.